This is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and we're going to read the work of Dr. Chaim Beinart, which we've discussed before, and people have seen this. And this is an atlas of Jewish history. And the title that I put on this is that the Jews survived the Middle Ages. We learned a little bit. I don't know how much we learned. I forget, really. We learned about the Crusades. Surviving the Crusades is a major feat for the Jewish people, but it's always a remnant because many people are killed and slaughtered. The blood runs thick in this religion of blood called Christianity. This is the Atlas of Medieval Jewish History. So this is what the cover looks like, something like that. And we're moving through time. Now, the Christians developed something lovely, which is called blood libel. Blood libel is part of Christianity to understand that blood is sacred to them. And as a result of that, they blame us for killing children, taking their blood. It's just absolutely ridiculous, but on the other hand, they believed it. So we went through that, and now we're going to go a little lighter thing, I think, maybe. We're going to go to the travels of a man by the name of Benjamin of Tudela. For 13 years, between the years 1160 of the common dominating the way that we, denote years, he traveled. So now we're going to see something about him, and we'll read some of the maps that he actually used. Benjamin of Tudela was a merchant traveler who set on a journey to Palestine either in the year 1159 or 1160, returning to Spain in 1172 or 1173. He wrote a book. His book, Sefer HaMasot, Book of Travels, contains a vivid description of his travels. In every city that he visited, he sought out the Jewish community, inquiring about the life of the Jews in the East. And his account became a major source for the history of that community. Benjamin visited the Holy Land during the period of the Crusader rule, meeting a number of Jews, some of them in Jerusalem. After Benjamin had shown the way, and until the time of Judah Harizi, a considerable number of Jewish pilgrims from Spain and Ashkenaz visited Palestine, their courage bolstered by a passionate yearning for the Holy Land and the belief that their pilgrimage would hasten the coming of the redemption. A pupil of the Ramban, which is Nachmanides, Moshe ben Nachman, he wrote Children of Israel, Torah scholars, and pious men of action from all 4 points of the compass, this one from a city, the other from a family, every man whose heart was promptest to generosity, to the spirit of sanctity and purification and affection for all that is holy, comes to Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land, and to them the Messiah will reveal himself. And now many are awakened and volunteer to go to Eretz Yisrael, and many think that we are approaching the coming of the Redeemer. So this is a Ya'ari, I'm not sure this reference. Masot of Eretz Yisrael means the pilgrimages or the deeds are going to Eretz Yisrael. So this is apparently, let's see if we could look at it more closely. This is a plaque. I can't really quite read it. I want to get down a little bit closer then. Maybe I could see it here. So this is apparently in Spanish, and it says, L.A. I don't know what that means. Ciudad Juana la Memoria, or something. I couldn't really, I thought it was Ciudad. I'm not sure what that word is. La Memoria de Benjamin of Tudela. hijo de Juano de Navarra. So that's what it sounds like. So in other words, it's a memorial plaque. So this is for Benjamin of Tudela. Let's come over here, and now we'll come back. We'll bring the camera back higher. We'll get a little bit of a look at his travels. Does that help? So it says here, I don't think it does. So this is the travels of Benjamin of Tudela. So this is supposed to be, began in somewhere around Toledo, Spain. I'm not sure. Or he's Portuguese. I'm not sure. He's traveling through Portugal. And he's going up around this way. Now, what exactly that is? So it says boundary between Christians and Muslims. Okay, so that's the first thing on this map I think we have to take a look at. Maybe we'll look at it a little bit more closely. Okay, here's a place in Spain called Tudela. So that's where you get the name Benjamin of Tudela. Here, this dotted line, now looking at this, at the legend down below, the dotted line refers to the boundary between Christians and Muslims. So he was in the Christian part of Spain, apparently. So then begins his journey. So we're going to have some presumed routes and this is his route. He went into France, around to France apparently. And from France he took, looks like a boat. So from the town of Arles, all of these different names that you see, Barcelona, all on what would be the east coast of Spain. He traveled in some way, maybe overland. It's possible it's mountainous over in there. And actually, I don't know the territory very well. So he says, and it got to, or by boat he left from Marseille, went to Genoa, went to Italy, got into Italy. And then he traveled on to Rome. And you see that he went through Greece, to the Salonika. And let's see, I'm not, it's my fault. Let me start this over again. So once again, his Tudela. So this is a man, he starts in Tudela. This is the boundary between Cordoba, which is in the Muslim part, and Tudela, which is in the Christian part of Spain. This is where Spain is divided at that time. So he says he made a journey. So he must have had a few dollars to be able to do this. I don't know exactly how you travel with money in those days. It's a dangerous world out there. And he got his way over to the Barcelona area. And from there he traveled over into what we call today France, into Arles. This is port. He took a boat to Genoa. Then from Genoa he continued on traveling to, let's see, where it would be Rome. I'm trying to figure it out. This would be this is France. Where is the boot of Italy? I'm not sure that I could see it. Now, I guess it's going down like this. It's just the color that's very difficult for me. You see, if I put a little light on it, maybe it gets better. Still can't see it. So at any rate, this is apparently Italy right here, coming down through here, passed all the way through Italy. He took boats, which my wife and I did this at one time. He said from a boat from the east coast of Italy to Greece, to Salonika. And then he goes through Salonika, gets into Turkey and Constantinople. And then from them he comes around, looks like either by boat or on a land route. And he winds up making his way into Jerusalem. All the way. He goes to Damascus, Baghdad, all these different places he traveled. Okay, and this is what we use as a guide to those old communities, those ancient communities. Now here is, this is his travels in Greece and Italy, and you see here's Capua, Napoli, and Naples, coming around this way. Corfu, and then into Greece. So we're coming from Italy around maybe like the land, the Brindisi, all these different names. And he traveled all the way through here to this. Now, he adds this. This looks like a poem or a writing from his book. Let's read it and let's see if we get an idea. He says, "Call greeting unto daughters and kindred, peace to brothers and to sisters, from the captive of hope who is possessed by the sea and hath placed his spirit in the hand of the winds, thrust by the hand of the west into the hands of the east. This one passes to lead on, and that one to thrust back. Between him and death is but a step. Aye, between them but the thickness of a plank. Buried alive in a coffin of wood, upon no floor, with no 4 cubits of earth, not even with less. He sitteth." We get a little stilted language here. "He cannot stand upon his feet. He lieth down. He cannot stretch them forth. Sick and afraid, because of the heathen, and because of the marauders and the winds, the pilot and the mariner, and all their rabble. They are the rulers and captains there." Now, this is a section of a sea poem of Judah Halevi, Yehuda Halevi in Hebrew, describing the hardships en route to the Holy Land. Translated by 9 Solomon, Selected Poems of Judah Halevi, Philadelphia, 1924. Now, apparently, here we look over here. Let me see if I can get this down this way. At another map. This is a map of the travels of I'm assuming, of Benjamin of Tudela, as he traveled down the coast of the land of Israel. Here we see Akko. Let me give it a little more. Let's see if we can see it better. I can move it around a little bit. So as we see that this is Tyre in Lebanon today, right down the coast to Akko, which today is in Israel, Caesarea, and went through there. And this is the time we said previously of the Crusaders. Must have been a great time. And he managed to make his way to Lod, Ramlah, into Jerusalem. He went to Bethlehem, Hebron, all these different places. You're talking about something of 1,000 years ago. He says then he comes back, and he winds up going back through Damascus. So here we have a very early depiction of a sea voyage, which we understand from the poem, very dangerous. This is Baruch Fleischman. This is Chaim Beinart, Atlas of medieval Jewish history, how we survived the Middle Ages.